Hi everyone, it's Claire at ScrappyNerdUK, and I am sorry that I have been MIA over here. Christmas just got really busy, and yeah, just trying to get videos edited and uploaded was not, unfortunately, on my priority list for the month of December, but I'm hoping to get the rest of the December daily videos edited and out as soon as possible. So here is day 20, and I'm working with 2 large photos and 4 small photos for this day. So we had visited the Christmas market in Winchester, and I have a large photo of the souvenir bauble that we bought, and also a large photo of us outside the huge cathedral in Winchester. And then I have 4 smaller photos, which is what I'm working with here to be able to attach them on. So the photograph of the bauble is in a 6x8 page protector, but the photograph of me and hubby is an outside of the page protector, so it's a larger, slightly larger photo. So it's the same size as a page protector, which measures at 7 by 8.25. And so here I am just creating a binding for my 4 photos to go on to. So this is going to have a little flip out on the edge of this photo. So I have taken some pattern paper. I was going to do it with washi, but when I laid this down, I actually realised that I wanted some of that pattern showing through on the side of where my journaling is. So I am using pattern paper for this very reason, and what I've done is I've figured out how wide my box needed to be for my journaling. So that's my journaling on the front, and then on the back of that, when it flips out, will be the 4 mini photos. And so I'm just figuring out if I do want that paper showing, and I think I do. So then I realised actually it's going to be seen from the underside as well. So I'm going to also cut another piece to the same length so I can stick the 2 together. And so when it flips out, you can see that pattern paper underneath also. And I think I'm just eyeballing the second piece, just using the first one as a measurement, and then using some double-sided tape to stick these together. Now, this is a word of warning with regards to this. So this paper is not particularly thick, so I wasn't too concerned about having 2 pieces stuck together. But I think with the tape in the middle as well, it just really stiffens up these pieces of pattern paper. And so when I go to fold it, it needs a lot of burnishing, and it will give over time, so it won't be forever really solid. But yes, when I did this, I was not anticipating that bit being so stiff when trying to burnish it down. You'll see that it just keeps trying to flip open, but I just persevere, and as I said, over time, with the weight of the other spreads in the album, it should start to settle down and not flip open as much. So I am adding some double-sided tape to the back of my photo, because that is where that little flip out thingy bobby bit, the binding, that's the word I'm looking for, it needs to stick onto the back of the photo. And this is why, although my photos are printed, I've only punched holes in them now if I know where whether they're going to go on the left or the right hand side of my spread. And so also I've not stuck photographs together back to back as ahead of time. I've done it as I've gone along and created the spread, because for this very reason, where I'd want to hide the binding in between the 2 photos, if I'd have stuck this back to back with the next side, then obviously it would have been on display, or it would have been very difficult to try and hide it. So for that reason, I've learnt my lesson, and I've not stuck my photos back to back, because I shoot myself in the foot otherwise. So next up, I'm going to add on my journaling. So I'm just going to add a thinner strip of the double-sided tape, and I use double-sided tape over a tape runner because I find that it sticks a lot better. So if something was going to go in the page protector, then I have no concerns using the a tape runner. But since this is out of pocket, I want to make sure that this does stay stuck. Say that 3 times fast. This does stay stuck over time, and so therefore I am using the double-sided tape just to make sure that it's nice and adhered on there. So next up, I'm working with my little photos, which are 2x4 ish, I think, because the photo's 8.25 high, so yeah, they are, I think they're maybe just slightly bigger than not 2x4, sorry, 2x2. I think they're 2.25. I think I've made them just a little bit bigger, so when they go on here they all together make 8.25 high, because I need them to be the same height as the photo on, well, I don't need them, I want them to be the same height as the photo on the left hand side. Oh, and I've run out of adhesive, so I'm just going to refill that. Now, one thing as well is, if I'd have thought about this, that large photo of me and hubby, if I'd have thought about this, that photo would have been better on the left hand side. And the reason for that is because when the holes are punched, I've got more white space in the right hand side of the photo, and therefore it would have lent itself better to be sat on the left hand side of my album. As it is, it ended up being on the right hand side, and it was just how the page protectors and how the project panned out. And so it meant that when I added the holes, that I also added holes through my face. So I'm totally okay with it. It doesn't cause issues with the photos, and if it was someone else, I'd be a bit reluctant to add holes in their face. But for this reason, I wish I'd have kind of thought about it a little bit more before proceeding with that. Now, what I could have done is, if I realised that the holes were going to be, or one of the holes was going to go straight through my cheek, then I could have trimmed down and taken off maybe a 1/2 inch from the right hand edge, and then added a piece of acetate to the left hand edge, and then actually just punched my holes into the acetate instead. So all of these ideas always come to us after, right? So they never present themselves before, or when you're actually completing the project. But it's all these things, but it's always an opportunity then to learn for future, isn't it? So hopefully this will remind myself that I should check the placement of where the hole's going to punch before punching it. And I didn't want to waste the photo paper, because it's just too wasteful to reprint. So I decided to go with it and suck it up. And that my punishment is that I have a photo with a hole in my cheek. And it's my own fault, so there we are. So my strip, now I've just trimmed that off, and I'm just using my bone folder just to keep burnishing that line, just to try and get it down and give it a nice crisp edge. And as I said, it keeps popping up, that you'll see, but yes, fingers crossed over time that will sort itself out. So what I do decide to do is add a paper clip to try and hold it closed, and I love things sticking out of my album, so it's another little embellishment that's poking out the top of my album. And that there is my Christmas embellishment box, and I get asked about that. I've posted about it on Instagram before. I get asked about that. It's an art bin box, and it has a top tray with a whole load of tiny little, not tiny little, but little segments where you can, sections where you can put different embellishments in. Then it's got 2 flap downs on each side, so there's further storage. And then if you lift the whole thing up, there's deep storage underneath, and it's absolutely perfect for my Christmas embellishments. So that is where the majority of my smaller embellishments, wood veneers, frames, anything that doesn't belong to a collection tends to live in that box. So next up, so back to this, so that's where I got my paperclip from. So back to this, I'm using these little puffy word phrases from Rosie's Studio Twinkle All the Way, which was the collection that I used for last year's album, and I'm just adding 1 each onto these smaller little photos, which is going to be, as I said, these are hidden, it's a little flip out, and then I'm going to pop that paperclip on the top just to try and hold it and tame it shut. Even when it does start to settle, I'm still going to leave the paperclip on there as an added embellishment. So next up, I'm going to add a few embellishments just onto the top of my photo of my bauble, because I need my day number and I also want an embellishment. So I have these little, I think they're meant to be chipboard, but they're like a plasticky chipboard from Pink Fresh Studio. And there was this one that said sparkle and shine. So that is going to be going just above the bauble, and then my number will go, or ornament should I say, if you are in America. I know that I think you call them ornaments, not baubles. And so I'm just going to add that on using my T-square just to make sure that's nice and straight. And then the final flourish of my day number 20, and then this one is done. So I hope you are being inspired by my December daily. I hope it's going to give me the kick up the backside to get my 2022 started and finished. But yes, I'm glad to be able to get another video out to you guys, and many more to follow. So I haven't had a video out since the 1st of January, so let me wish you all a happy new year, and I can't wait to bring you more creative content over 2023. See you next time. Bye.